Okay, this is a video to self about the boiler and what happens if the expansion vessel becomes discharged. So one sign of that apparently is knocking in the pipes. The first thing to do will probably be to bleed radiators, but if I suspect because the pressure is getting too high or wavering too much, should be 1.5 bar. I should always top up to 1.5 bar when it's cold. Then this is what we do. First of all, we need to switch the thing off. Might need to read how to do that, but switch the power button off. Then need to remove these screws. So just undo them loose. There's two, one on each side. And then to get this off, you just pull it away slightly at the bottom, and then I'm going to put this down. So you pull it away at the bottom and then just lift it up gently and it comes off really nice. No pushing or forcing or anything needed. And then when that's off, this is the inside. You can do these clips, I think, to flip the front panel down, but basically this is the expansion vessel up here. What I need to do once the thing's switched off and powered down is first isolate the boiler water-wise, which means closing flow and return. Switch those off so that when I drain the boiler, I don't drain the whole system. So then we've got to drain the boiler, and that means putting a hose on this pipe and then opening this little valve. So switch off flow and return, hose on here, open that, drain the water out of the boiler. Once the boiler's drained, I leave this open. I don't close it, I leave it open. And then in here, this little thing here is a bicycle valve. You need to be a little bit careful, it might have water in here. In fact, before I drain it, one test is to just poke that bicycle valve and see if there's water in there. But then basically put a pump on that and pump it up to 1 bar. So I pump this up to 1 bar, making sure that this is open when I do that. Once I pump that up to 1 bar, top tip is to get some fairy liquid on the valve to make sure that there's not a leak on the valve, because you don't want a weeping leak on that valve to cause problems. And then it's just the reverse. So close the system up, switch that off, remove the hose, make sure that this is definitely off, and then I can switch on flow and return and switch the boiler back on. Okay, so it's switch boiler off, close those, open this with a hose pipe on it, pump this up to 1 bar, and then the reverse. Test it with fairy liquid, close this, open those, and then boiler back on. And so I've just got to now put the thing back on. So you just hook it on over the things at the top, and then it just kind of goes next to it. So let's do that. Hook it on over the top. Let it come in at the bottom. Put the screws back in. So we go, that's back on, and I've done them finger time. Now I'm going to tighten them up with a screwdriver, and then that's done.